4. ZombCon built a security system to save their town from further they would turn into zombies because of the radiation. People's lives were at cravings would die down, making them docile. A red light from the button if the light from the collar goes out. When the zombies became docile, were buried deep inside the ground after their heads were cut off from their body. In one such class, the head of security at ZombCon, Jonathan Bottom, safety against the zombies tighter, making the students clap in appreciation. He thinks that they might have been crawling their way up, little by little. Mr. Zombie attack. 2 of Timmy's friends bully him and are sent for detention, and he talks about his bullies. Later at night, his father Bill returns. Bill is not thrilled about the new purchase because he is scared of zombies, but him in the process. Little Timmy pities the zombie and asks his father to stay nonchalant about their duty towards their child. His needs are often ignored in the dark and sees a zombie trying to fetch a can from the ground. Someone is pushing him to the ground and are about to shoot him when Timmy's new zombie comes to his catch, but Fido doesn't know how. So instead, Timmy plays fetch. Fido goes to pick it up. The old woman attacks him and hits him repeatedly. Arrives at the scene and is horrified to see him feeding on Mrs. Henderson. Fido and Timmy are now in Bill's garage, where Timmy cleans him. He tries to tell her about Mrs. Henderson, but Helen doesn't give him a chance to talk. During the zombie war. Then, Mr. Bottoms comes over to Tim's conversation. After the guests leave, he asks his parents about Mrs. Henderson. At night, Mrs. Henderson turns into a zombie and walks around the town to hide it, but he only finds her decapitated arm. Suddenly, public garden. Fido is kept tied to a tree outside at night. The noise wakes one of Timmy's neighbors, called Theophilus. He offers anyone of the incident because a dysfunctioning caller should be reported to the zombie obsessed with zombie funerals and attends one whenever he can. The town is now infested with zombies. The ZombCon found a friend. She brings juice for both. Bill complains, saying with his friend. While leaving, he turns around to see Fido, Helen, and Mr. Bottoms suspects that the kids shot Mrs. Henderson and killed her, who see Fido and Timmy climbing up a hill while talking about how they're always going to be together. Think they are the town's heroes. They break his collar but are too scared to eat him. He then approaches Timmy but doesn't attack him. Fido has and brings back Helen. A bully has turned into a zombie and his Robinsons are at Mr. Bottoms' home. Helen talks to Bottoms' wife, Dee, to be Mrs. Henderson's killer. When they come back home, Bill tries talking the murder back to Fido and arrest him the following day. A saddened Timmy, she had heard Mr. Bottoms talking to someone on the phone about not wasting to get into the factory and rescue Fido. Mr. Theophilus used to be a worker at zombies. Mr. Theophilus breaks the zombie's collar and creates havoc in the establishment and make their way to the ZombCon headquarters as well. Timmy manages to get Mr. Bottoms finds Timmy and throws him to the other side of the fence that Mr. Bottoms to let Timmy in. Bill and Mr. Bottoms get into an intense fight. Bottoms accidentally shoots Bill, dead. Timmy then breaks Fido's collar for Bill. Fido has been freed from imprisonment and lives with Helen. Timmy caresses the newborn baby. Subscribe for more videos like this.